Mogul Motivation, educating and empowering entrepreneurs 1 week at a time. Presented by True Stories Media. And I am your host, Antoine Twiz Taylor. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Mogul Motivation. This is episode 161. Earlier this week on Instagram, I saw a post that resonated with me very strong. You know, it really slapped me in the face because it really hit home. It triggered a lot of things in me. And this post, it said, be who you needed when you were younger. And that's very powerful because as kids, we are so vulnerable. As kids, we are so innocent. And as kids, we need people to be many things for us. We need people to be nurturers. We need people to be protectors. We need people to be loving and caring. You know, we need a lot of things. And when I was a kid, I needed some of those things as well. But one thing that really sticks out to me is when I was a kid, I needed someone that was there to educate me on finance, to educate me on credit, to educate me on wealth. I was not educated on these things, and it's not no shade to my mom or my family, but the reality is I wasn't educated on these topics as much as I could have been. And honestly, I didn't become educated on these things until after college. If we're going to get real technical with it, I didn't become financially literate until after I was a college graduate. Think about that. Meanwhile, you have many other kids out here across the country who, coming out of high school, they were already ahead of the curve. So be who you needed when you were younger. To me, what that means is I have to be that person that educates little black boys and girls or anybody who comes from nothing and wants to aspire higher. I have to be that person to pass on the knowledge, to help them obtain that knowledge, to help them believe that they can be anything that they want to be. Be who you needed when you were younger. That's what you should do today. That's what we should do every week. And that leads me into this week's topic. Because of this post, I created this topic. Episode 3 of Mogul Motivation was titled Childlike Enthusiasm. Episode 87 was titled Ghost of Greatness Past. So today, episode 161, I don't want to say it's part 3 of a series, but nevertheless, episode 161, episode 87, and episode 3 are all linked together. They all follow the same theme, the same trend. This week, I want to talk about imagination. I want to talk about imagination. And as kids, imagination is one of the biggest things that we have. You know, we could turn a cardboard box into a race car today, and then tomorrow that cardboard box can be a spaceship, and then the day after that cardboard box can be a sailboat. We have imagination. And as kids, our imaginations is what keeps us going. It keeps us entertained. That imagination doesn't leave us as we become adults. As we become entrepreneurs, that imagination doesn't go anywhere. It stays there. But what it does is it evolves. That imagination evolves into ingenuity. It evolves into creativity. As entrepreneurs and as dream chasers, ladies and gentlemen, we have to keep that imagination. We have to keep our creativity and keep our ingenuity. Because what do we do when funds are low and debts are high? We have to get creative. We have to figure out a way how we can move money around to keep us afloat and keep us going forward day by day. We have to get creative when we have a grassroots marketing campaign. We have to think outside of the box whenever we are trying to grow a business and whenever we're trying to obtain our dreams. That's just the reality of it. The imagination that we had as kids when we transformed those cardboard boxes into different vehicles, different objects, is still the same imagination as adults and entrepreneurs. The only difference is we have to think in different ways. We have to look at things differently. We have different priorities now. The priority as a child was to be entertained and to have fun. The priority as an entrepreneur is to have fun, yes, but it's also to make money and to grow our passions. Entrepreneurs must be creative in all aspects of business. It doesn't matter what it is. And as children, we have imaginary friends sometime as well. Calvin and Hobbes, that was his imagination. You know, if you watch the Rugrats, they used their imagination and had imaginary friends as well. Ladies and gentlemen, your imaginary friends don't leave when you become adults and when you become an entrepreneur either. Your imaginary friend becomes your intuition. Because see, when you're a kid, and you have an imaginary friend, it's usually because you're bored and you're lonely. So therefore, your imagination takes over and it creates another being in your head that you can entertain with. When you're an entrepreneur, you're still going to be lonely. You're still going to be alone. You're still going to have times where you're in the darkness. Yeah, you might have a little support system, but for the most part, when you're on that journey, you're the only person running this business. You're the only person that has this dream. So therefore, you're going to be alone a lot of times. Your imaginary friend that you had as a child is still there. It's called your intuition now. That's what your imaginary friend has become, your intuition. It's become that little voice in the back of your head telling you, don't give up. We need you. Keep going. You got this. That's what that voice is encouraging you in the back of your head, in your spirit, in your soul. That's keep you going. That's what's telling you in your gut, do this. Step out on faith. You have to do this. Our imagination is undefeated. Whenever you have your mind set on that light bulb that went off in your head, nothing can stop you from getting to it. Nothing can stop that light from shining through the dark. Every single business on this earth started as an idea. It came from somebody's imagination. Every single one. It's undefeated. Mars Blackman was a part of Spike Lee's imagination. And now look at him. Madea, regardless of how you feel about Madea and Tyler Perry, Madea was part of Tyler Perry's imagination. Now look at him. Mickey Mouse was a part of Walt Disney's imagination. And now look at the company that bears his name. It's the largest media conglomerate in the world. Imagination is undefeated. Don't think that your ideas are outlandish. Don't think that they're stupid. Don't think that they're silly. Your ideas are your ideas. Your imagination is your imagination. And if you go forward with everything in your power, if you continue to be creative, if you continue to have ingenuity, if you continue to make a way out of no way, if you continue to listen to your intuition, your gut, that imaginary friend that you had as a child, you will win in the end. Our imaginations are undefeated, ladies and gentlemen. So be who you needed when you were a child. Be that successful person that your child needed to look up to. Be that person to tell you that it can be done. Be all of those things that you needed to be when you were a child. And don't lose your imagination. Don't discard your imagination. Don't forget about your imagination. That imagination you had as a child is the same imagination you have as an entrepreneur. And you can still use it for your benefit. And you have to use it for your benefit if you want to be successful and you want to get to that next level. So let's continue to work. Let's continue to imagine reality. And let's do this. Let's win. Let's continue this undefeated streak. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. I'll talk to you next week.